I will start out the review by saying that Jedi Survivor is an amazing game, but absolutely should not have launched in the state that it did. Minor spoilers ahead. This is going to be my review of Jedi Survivor. I do want to give a little technical disclaimer about the state of the Jedi Survivor PC port, so mileage may vary. The specs for my machine are an RTX 4080 with an i7 13700K, and I consider that to be a pretty high-end machine. And it was hard for me in some cases to keep a solid 60 FPS, and unfortunately, that does seem to be the case across the board as numerous players have been reporting choppy PC performance over the course of the opening week on even some of the best hardware. I do also want to take the time to note that the quality of the footage may vary, as I had to play around with some of the settings to be able to record and play at the same time. Little side note, I wrote the portion of that before. There have been a few patches to smooth out some improvement, but nothing too major, so I just want to add that in there as well. Star Wars Jedi Survivor takes place some 5 years after the events of Jedi Fallen Order, and here we pick up with Cal and his crew as they're running daily heists, sort of just causing general headaches for the Empire. And in these 5 years since Fallen Order, Cal is no longer the Jedi Padawan we were playing as before, but a Jedi Knight. Grizzled and hardened from the last 5 years, we can tell early on that this is still the same Cal, but he's matured from his past experiences and the people that he's lost along the way. And the opening of the game really does a good job at setting the stage and hammering home the title of the game, Survivor, and the amount of weight that it carries as Cal moves on throughout his journey.
Master's lightsaber.
This journey, you will meet a plethora of characters, plenty of them returning from the first game, Marin, Grease, and Seer. And then you have Bode Akuna, who is also joining out Cal's crew as a new face. You also are introduced to Dagan Gera and the bounty hunter Ravis, who serve as the main antagonists of the game across its 20-hour runtime. And I do want to just briefly touch on the story a little bit here. I thought that a lot of the story beats worked for me with some genuinely good twist. I don't want to talk too much about the story because a lot of it is best experienced on your own. And Respawn really gets Star Wars and nails home that feeling of putting yourself in the universe with all these other characters. Another one of my favorite aspects from the game was the main hub world of Kobo. Kobo is one of the 5 planets that you're able to go to and explore, but Kobo is the main hub world where you are able to essentially build out a base. And something that Survivor does indefinitely better than Fallen Order is the sense of exploration and freedom that you have. And here I'm going to go ahead and show the size of Kobo and the map, and it genuinely feels like you could fit the entire last game within this map. And while some might worry that the size of the map might happen to affect the gameplay, it doesn't, because Respawn has these maps chock full of things to do, whether it's taking out a legendary boss, doing a side mission, hunting down collectibles, and force tears. But the biggest driving point in all of this is finding different ways to customize your character. In Fallen Order, one of the only real ways that you could customize Cal was changing his poncho and taking it on or off. Shit, in this game, you can make him look like Daniel-san from Karate Kid or Cal Dirte. The customization options don't just stop there, and you're able to customize the jacket, the shirt, the pants of Cal, with all of those being found in the open world and none of them giving you stat increases or bonus. Same goes for your lightsaber, which can be customized down to each component just like the last game, but the options have been greatly expanded upon here, and all of this is amazing because it's the driving force for exploration. Yes, you're leveling up Cal, you're putting points in the respective skill trees, but your really cool armor sets and lightsaber pieces that you find, and it drives you to see what does the whole set look like. Can we also take a second to appreciate the different sounds that some of the lightsabers have? Might be a small detail, but I absolutely love it. Shoutouts to the Respawn sound engineer that liked my tweet and gave me the explanation for it. You the man. Another thing that I appreciate that Respawn did was nearly right away we are given the tools and abilities from the last game. No padding it out and making us unlock them again, and we also are introduced to multiple lightsaber stances. Back in Fallen Order we had your single standard blade, and then we had your double-bladed Maul style saber. While here in Jedi Survivor we have the ability to choose from 5 different stances. The dual-wield stance, a la Ahsoka Tano, a blaster lightsaber combo, and then my personal favorite, the crossguard. These become available as you progress through the main story at certain points. The different lightsaber stances are really cool because they each have their sort of own attack style, whereas the dual wield lightsabers is more of a quick flurry of attacks, whereas the crossguard, which is my personal favorite, is very slow and deliberate hits that kind of have to build up some momentum. Well, these do help vary up the combat in certain ways. I do wish you were able to freely move them, like Ghost of Tsushima, where you kind of had this radial wheel or sort of just these four options. It is a big missed opportunity that you do have to go back and upgrade your lightsaber at the table each time to want to change these stances out, but I do like them nonetheless. I'll go ahead and I'll talk about a few things that I didn't like. While the fast travel ability now in this game does allow you to freely explore these worlds a lot easier, the map is still a big pain in the ass at times to look around. And most of the time, I did find myself just looking for red, yellow, or green colors to at least sort of help me point in that general direction. I'm not sure how they can improve on the map for the next Jedi game, and obviously the performance issues that I mentioned earlier, those are at the top of the review. But those were really bad the first couple of days, and they have sort of smoothed out since then, but that really shouldn't have happened. And in the end, Jedi Survivor is a game that I think that builds upon the systems that were laid out in the previous installment, with each of them improving and adding on in a significant way. Respawn has confirmed that if this game does well, they would seem to work on a third one, and I don't see a reason why it wouldn't do well. So all things are pointing head towards a third Jedi game as well. And I think with these lessons learned from the first two games, they can make a satisfying conclusion to this saga. And if you have made it this far, thank you for watching. And this has been my review of Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Remember, trust only in the Force.
So where to now?